Good evening. This is your host, MENDAYZZ, on the NETERAL radio show. And today's date is July 10th, 2018, on a Tuesday evening. And tonight's topic is going to be about, should a bronze woman have more than one confidant? Now, the time is right now is 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're just going to basically go over a brief discussion over confidence just in general. So first thing that comes to mind is what is a confidant? And from my perspective, a confidant is basically someone who you share any personal discretion with, that has to do with something being private. It's a private matter, and it's something that will not go discussed or be repeated to another person. So when you know with reassurance that this person will not go and repeat or take information or be two-faced or do anything along the lines of backbiting or talk behind your back and things like that. So a confidant don't necessarily do that. They're more supportive. They hear what it is that you have to say and things of that nature. Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind is, how do you even develop a trust for a worthy confidant? And some of the things that that came to mind was the first and foremost is the person's appearance, how they carry themselves, how they conduct themselves. So basically, if you are a woman and you see another, woman, in general, and, one of the things that women love to do is, gossip or just talk, just interact, have some type of interaction. But when it comes down to appearance, when you see a woman that respects herself, or sometimes you see a woman that basically that reflects the same, image that you are, and sometimes you are automatically drawn to that type of person and that type of energy. Okay, so what usually happens is that something you either link up with that person and you start to bond with them, or sometimes you may repel. It could be something that's in the other, woman per se, and it could be something that that you may not like. And how it's the saying that some women feel like when they see another woman at first appearance, oh, it's just something about her that I don't like, or things like that, just immediately judging her off her appearance, which is not a healthy outlook in get into know another person in particular. So a lot of times the best way to do things is not to even judge. If you might have someone that you may judge wrongfully and you end up liking them in the end, you end up being friends with them. Sometimes that can happen, so usually I'll just say you go over their appearance, basically how the woman conducts herself, the way she respects herself, the way she, carry herself, her tone, her voice and things like that. That's very attractive. Now, if it's a woman in particular that's the total opposite of that, then she's not going to be, compelled or want to be in the same environment as that particular woman that may have respect for herself. Is dealing with a female per se that don't have that respect, and she just loud and boisterous and things like that. She may not take to that person that may not be that way. Okay, so to each its own. At the end of the day, there's women and then there's females. So the women, I would say per se, you just get to know a person based off of how they conduct themselves regarding appearance, just, I don't like to use the word grow on you, but just, evaluate them and, get a, pull on the woman per se before you actually engage them or even want to put them in any category of being an associate or a friend or anything like that, so those are the things that, you want to be mindful of. And then the approach, when you interacting with this woman per se, it can be a coworker, it can be, your own relative, it could be your mother, your sister, your aunt, grandmother, how you relate to them in particular. You want to be able to, evaluate how they are respectful genuinely respectful and supportive. These are some of the things that you will see from these, these types of women approaches and things like that, which is something that's very worthy of, and confiding in them, especially if you are a teenage, girl. And I know a lot of times you have teenage girls that feel like, I can't talk to my mom about stuff, but I can talk to my aunt, and confide in my aunt and tell my aunt things. But at the end of the day, your mother is the one that's the closest to you that'll be able to, take care of you in the best way that your aunt may not be able to. So you have to develop in your mother as well. So I know it's easy said than done because, like I said, sometimes, for teenagers in particular, they may not be able to talk to their mom because maybe the mother may not be approachable. But at the end of the day, for the mothers, you want to be able to be open-minded and always keep room for your teenagers, your teenage girls to be able to talk to you and be able to, tell you the difficult things that they want to be able to share with you and things like that may not be, it may not be welcoming all the time, but you want to keep an open mind for your, the youth. Okay, so your approach, you want to always be open minded. Now, I know you got those types of other mothers that just not trying to hear it with their teenagers, and I don't knock them for being, showing tough love towards your teenage girls, but at the end of the day, there's nothing like a mother's love at the end of the day, so you want to be able to use practical advice when you give your teenagers, advice, and be able to, like I said, open up yourself to be approachable. I mean, it's one thing from the respect, certain rules that you lay out as a, blueprint of things, but at the end of the day, you want your daughters to be able to come to you and you be able to lead and guide them and be able to raise them up. Now, I understand it takes a village to raise a child just in general, so it's the same thing. It takes a whole group of women to raise, your child in particular, especially those who you can, also confide in and know that they won't guide or lead your daughter down the wrong path. Okay, so it's very important to go for the approach, and be mindful of how, these women are respectful in their demeanor and how supportive they are. Okay, these are worthy confidants who you can go to and speak to. Okay, and another thing is the woman's level of integrity. Now, this applies a lot to women, and then you got some females that's trying to develop into that phase of being a woman. And I would say, instead of saying female, I would just classify it as ladies in the making of becoming a woman. Okay, so ladies, that's developing that type of integrity for yourself over time. One of those things is self-love. Okay, and it's long way, and that's just the development of integrity in itself. But for the women that are already seasoned in that, that level of integrity, they have a lot of common morality and sense and a lot of experience and things like that can be very useful and helpful for the youth. So you ladies are in the making, and for those women that are seasoned, in age or just, profound and, just their approach and their demeanor, it's good to be able to take heed and learn from, seasoned women, in the making. So just in general with their level of integrity, what they stand for, what they mean, they stand for something. They don't fall for anything. They're not out here. They are not out here, contradicting themselves or doing anything, to stir up any kind of or anything of that nature. Okay, so now when it comes down to another worthy attribute is that they have value. There's things that they take value in, as a woman just in general. There's certain things that, women will not, stand for in terms of disrespect from other people, the way they dress and things like that. behind that, or all of it has like with using profanity, like some older women or seasoned women, I would say, that don't like profanity or like any kind of things, and there's nothing wrong with that because it keeps things into perspective. Okay, so give you a prime example. Sometimes all conversations, you might have those group of women, and this is for ladies in particular, you might have this way of wanting to be open-minded to, guys per se, and you might want to be able to, welcome any kind of conversation, but you can't. At some point in time, and I learned this over time, because you're always in a learning stage, that sometimes when you have guys talking to you about certain things in particular, there's certain conversations that should be off limit and some conversations that's just inappropriate. And one of those conversations, if it's just a one-on-one thing, and if you're not, this is not a boyfriend and girlfriend thing, one of the conversations is inappropriate is if you have any sexual conversations about any, their experience, anything like that, that's very inappropriate. But you got some women that's okay with that, or ladies, I say okay with that, but at the end of the day, you can't be okay with that. And I'm just giving an example. You will have a woman that will dismiss that conversation and won't be involved in that. So it's not cool to want to know everything that the guy is doing or his experience and things like that because you want to know those things. Okay, so some conversations are just off limit. It's not just you just being open-minded. Yeah, you can. The way you value yourself is by you saying excusing yourself from the conversation and going somewhere else. Elsewhere. When you engage the conversation with the person one-on-one, like just having a conversation in general, sometimes you might have those guys in particular just trying to size you up and see what, how much you would take and things like that, opposed to a seasoned woman that will not be having that. No type of inappropriate conversation, just giving an example. So just by that in general, you just want to be mindful how you present yourself as a lady to women, and when you're having conversations, and know when you're having an inappropriate conversation with the opposite sex in particular. Okay, so these are the difference, in the values and how you can develop trust for these particular women that will be worthy, confident, based on their appearance. They're well-dressed, very presentable, they approachable, they have a level of integrity and values, okay, that is flawless, okay, that is also a virtue, just in them following it and, standing for something. And then when it comes down to information, this is just basically the last attribute, because like I said from the beginning of the show, you might have those types of women that, women that just love to talk, they just love to gossip, they like to talk. But one thing about information is that when you have someone give you personal information, or just, share something private, you know when to keep that type of conversation and close just between, you and that person. But if it gets into the hands of the wrong person, then that person will take that information and try to make folly of it by going back to backbiting the person, or just being two-faced. This is the thing which is not healthy when you are developing a relationship with a woman, just in general, in terms of if you want to develop a sisterhood in particular. Those are attributes that will not be healthy. Okay, a woman in particular, and this is to tell the woman, woman to woman, and be able to, say what it is that what needs to be said. And not make folly of the woman in particular. But you got women nowadays, they thrive off of that, and that's not healthy at all. Okay? So when it comes down to information, another technique that I use is that if you feel that the person is kind of like on the iffy side, what you do is when you're having a conversation with them in particular, and let's say it's two people who you're trying to see who's the confidant or whatever the case might be, or you're just trying to figure out something, like it could be you trying to figure out who might be able to, keep your secrets, or who's a liar, or whatever the case might be. What you do is you tell one person one thing, and then you tell the other person another thing. Okay, so if that same information come back to you, then you know who told what. Okay, so giving you a prime example, if you tell A something in particular that's totally different, now let's say this is just a bait, and you tell them that, and then you tell B, you tell them the truth, or whatever the case might be, or whatever, it could be the bait as well, and based on how the information is told, you know who said what, and that's how you can determine who is a worthy confidant. Okay, so that's one technique that I use in particular. Now, some women will understand where I'm coming from when it comes down to information or just being able to have someone, you know, who you can confide in. Okay, so those are the things of how you can develop trust for a worthy confidant. So with that being said, we'll be right back. Okay, and we are back. That was The Duke by Dave Brubeck. Just to recap on what I was saying about information just in general being one of the attributes of trying to determine whether you can trust a worthy confidant. What I basically was just trying to say is that when you share certain personal information with someone and you're trying to see who you can trust, if you display that type of, you know, information and you figure out who's the one who can't be trusted, that's how you be able to determine who you can deal with on a certain level and those who you can deal with as a personal confidant. Okay? So going back to what is the difference between a mentor and a confidant. Now, a mentor is totally different from a confidant. Okay, so mentors are basically there into something greater, and they basically there to lead you into the right direction. Okay, or just give you advice that will be, useful for you in the future. This is what mentors are there for. To have inappropriate conversations with a mentor is out of context because that's not what a mentor is there for. Okay, but when you have a confidant is basically someone who's supportive that can handle whatever it is that you need to share that is anything that has a personal, preference or matter behind it, or this is who you go and you share it with, and getting, you sharing your experience and then you being able to get feedback if it is warranted, if you want the advice from that person in particular upon sharing your experience and with that person that's personal. Okay, a confidant is also there to encourage you to your fullest potential as well. So usually 9 times out of 10 they'll stick by your side whether you are right or wrong. Sometimes you got ladies that call these types of confidants besties, or that's my best friend, or they got a lot of names for it, but at the end of the day, particular people, they basically are always in your corner, okay? And there's also a difference between having just friendships. I always feel that when you feel that you just having a whole bunch of friendships and you always feel that you have a friend, I always look at that word friendship and I say is whatever you develop with that person is meant to end. So it's not good to just have a whole bunch of friends and you don't really have any kind of connection to them. So it's better to establish a sisterhood opposed to just having friendships. Because like I said, you look in the word friendship, you see, or just friend in general, you see the word in at the end, friend. So basically whatever, like when you meet them, that friendship is meant to end over time. Okay, but for those for a confidant, they are more or less long term. People who you share your personal life and your experience with, and they usually are with you for just a mentor and a confidant, just a brief understanding of friendship just in general. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is how to maintain a healthy relationship with a person that is a confidant. Okay, so usually for those who who have those types of, women that's in your lives who, been a part of your life for a lifetime. Like I said, you relate to them as your bestie. They've been by your side through thick and thin, and you know that they will hold your secret to the very end. Those women in particular, the way you maintain that is based on the time that y'all spend together, the time that, y'all be able to, share the good, the bad, the ugly together. That's the only way you're going to be able to, develop that bond. Now, when I say the good, the bad, and the ugly, does that mean that y'all got to be taking each other's head off? No. What's going to happen is at some point in time, you're going to agree to disagree with each other, and based on how y'all come back and reason with each other is based on time and how y'all be able to view things and things like that, and to make sure that y'all relationship or whatever the unhealthy with when you have those give you a prime example, when you got these live TV shows with basketball wives and they taking each other head off, that is very unhealthy. Okay, and it shows an example of insecure women. They have pretty faces, but they have ugly attitudes and demeanors about themselves. Okay, and that's no way, or basketball wives or whatever, that's no way how you establish a bond with anyone in particular. Okay, those are what you call cliques, and those are like superficial, connections or whatever that they have that is very, very extremely unhealthy. But like going back to just the time in general, you want to be able to agree to disagree and be able to, establish that sisterhood. That's the relationship behind it, is that you maintain in that sisterhood. You basically treat that woman as if she was your own sister. Okay, and you go off of that just in general, and just like with the mothers, you treat that woman in particular as if she was your own daughter. That's how you build up that rapport. That's how you maintain the healthiness of that type of relationship in general. And then the bonding. Now, like I said, friendship is not bonding when you feel that you and the other person have something in common. Y'all like to go out. Y'all like to do things. No, that's not really bonding. Bonding is when you are basically sharing certain things, and get partially part of it is when you do go out and be able to spend time with them. That's just partial part of it, but the whole gist of it is how you are able to move forward, work together, and be able to be able to reciprocate the same respectful treatment amongst each other. We are respecting of each other and not like basketball wives trying to take each other head off. Okay, and even for the young ladies, fighting in the street and then putting on World Star, that's not cute at all. Okay, so we're going to open up the line for the question of, should a bronze woman have more than one confidant? So I'm going to open up the line to see if anyone want to share their comments, concerns, or just, suggestions just in general. Okay, so, concerns, or just, 347? Okay, so 347, you on air. Concerns. 347? Okay, let's try another one. 646, you on air? 646? Okay. 646? Okay, 347, you on air?
Hello?
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 Hi, hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello? I was listening to your this topic and whatnot, and I want to congratulate you on your radio broadcast. I want to congratulate you on your radio broadcast. NETERAL Radio. I mean, it was a great thing.
You have background noise. I can't really hear you. You have background noise.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna call when you get everything situated. I'll bring you back in on the call. Okay. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, it's better.
Okay. Yeah. 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was listening to what you said, and as far as confidence, when you get a bit confident, you have to be mindful. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so you have to be mindful of anyone who calls you confidant nowadays. So if you get one with confidant, somebody who's not trying to take advantage of you or use what you tell them against you, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be good if these people are on your level,
Right. Mm-hmm.
It would be better if these people are on your level mentally, so that you can actually have someone to share thoughts and ideas and things with, because the worst thing in the world to do is consider someone your confidant or friend or whatever you want to call it, acquaintance, and then later on find out as you are going forward and sharing things with them that they are the total opposite of that.
Right. So I use the analogy, not to cut you off, I apologize, but I use the analogy in their fear that they suspect someone, are sharing something that's personal and they don't know who it is. I was saying that they can tell between A and B, they could tell A, one thing in particular, it could be the bait that they making it seem like it's the truth, but it's really not. And then tell B, something similar to, to the truth in itself. And then if it comes out, then that person will know who said what without that person even realizing that they told.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was saying that's a technique that they can use when dealing with people in particular, opposed to going all the way and you trusting the person 100%, and then they end up, turning on you in the end.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, but you was about to say something about evolution?
People have to be evolving alongside of you in order for you to be able to, trust in these people, because you always want to have somebody who has just as much gain or lose, and you confide in these people. You always want to have somebody, just about as much, So if they don't have just about as much to gain or lose as you, then, there's something with that. You don't want to, you don't want to confide in or trust in anybody who, again, is not on the same level as you are. Just because people call themselves your friends or pretend to be like confidants to you does not mean that that's what in all actuality they are.
Right, I agree. Yeah, because you got some people that would try to befriend the woman and then set her up and do things that's wrong like that. Like there's times where they befriend you. You go out to a club or something with them, and they just leave you there, and you thinking this is your friend, and it's really not. They really trying to harm you or hurt you in disguise.
That's true.
Okay. All right, and being that you are a man in particular, how do you determine whether who you will use as a confidant as a bronze man?
All actuality, I have very few confidants.
Okay.
I'm very cautious for who I confide in about certain things. And years of experience, has taught me to be that way. It never told me to put my guard down, because it takes a minute for people, for you to realize or try to figure if people have your best interest at heart, or are they going to really be, sincere and listening to what you're trying to share, what you're trying to, get across to them. as opposed to, again, trying to use it against you in some way, shape, or form to, bury you later on. So again, a lot of times when you confide in people, they use it as a form of ammunition against you. Later on, when you get in that fight or that argument or disagreement, they'll be throwing it right back up in your face, the things you confided in them about. You don't want that.
Right. That's not healthy, because then that person is not trying to help you. They trying to hurt you, and that's not good. Doing the wrong run of things. But I thank you for your time. There's other people that want to, give their suggestions, and I thank you for listening to NETERAL Radio Show. And thank you again for your compliment.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
I'm going to just put you on mute. Okay, 818, you're on air.
Hello.
818, you're on air. Hi.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi, yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Hi. Congratulations on your radio talk show, first of all.
Thank you.
I wanted to kind of piggyback on some of the things that the last caller had touched upon, and it plays into the whole thing. First of all, I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because it is so needed for bronze women, because as you brought up examples that are, in media, social media, and on television, you see bronze women always going at each other rather than having conversations. And this is a great way to start conversations and to get bronze women back on the track of, I guess, being able to trust each other, to be confidant, being on that subject. Because the last caller brought up that, about, there have been, basically you shouldn't have too many people that you talk to anyway. But I think the key is watching people. It just takes time to watch people, how they carry themselves, the things that come out of their mouth about different subjects and even other people, because you can't trust people that are constantly talking about other people. So it's just a matter of paying attention and getting to know people, because you don't want to just, start blurting your business to any and everybody. Don't get me wrong. I know we've met people in our lives that we click with, and you just feel like you've known them, but you always have to take the time to get to know people, because you can attract to the people that are on your level, as the last caller put it. So, again, I really am proud and appreciate this platform, and the subject was amazing, and hopefully we can, this is something we can delve into again, because again, the trust between bronze women is, it needs to be worked on a lot.
Yes.
We need
thank
each
you
other,
so much
for each other.
Yeah, it's true. At the end of the day, we realize at the end of the day of it all, we need each other at the end of the day, and we need to be supportive of each other. So you made excellent, valid points.
Thank you, and I appreciate you. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, I'm going to open up the lines again for 646. You're on air.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Oh, hold on.
Hi.
Hold on. Give me a moment. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, hello. Ms. Zach, this is MENDAYZZ.
Okay, how you doing, Violet?
I have a question to ask you. Okay, being throughout my years of living, my life experience, I find it rather difficult to trust other females or women, bronze in particular. Is there any advice or suggestion as of how can I rebuild that trust? Because I'm constantly trying to change my look at life and my behavior and how to better myself. So is there, you have any suggestions, as any tips or any words of wisdom to know as of how can I try to rebuild something that I clearly burnt those bridges years ago?
Well, one of the things I always say, and I have learned over time, is that you have to develop that certain trust for yourself. Because if you have this distrusting demeanor towards other women in particular, then they're going to only reflect what it is that you feel that you are lacking in trusting for yourself. So I feel like women in particular can be able to, the ones that are able to trust each other have a healthy trust for themselves. So one advice I would say, one in particular, is to, learn to trust yourself. And trusting yourself basically may mean that sometimes you might be fearful in doing certain things. And that's not trusting yourself, because then you self-doubting yourself or you second-guessing yourself. So you want to be able to develop that assurance for yourself, make it solid before you're able to trust another, NRA or sister just in particular, to be able to develop a healthy relationship with, another bond woman in particular as a sister.
Okay. Because I was always like raised in solitude. I'm the only child. So this is why I find it a little bit more difficult for me. I'm not making any excuses for myself, but just to my circumstances. Do you believe or do you think that has something to do with it as well? Because that's there's like a certain way of you doing something, and you have been doing it for so long that type of way that it's not, and that goes for the opposite sex as well. So it's like it's not anything towards females or towards males, but that's just, because I was the only child and raised in solitude, so I don't know how to communicate with other people or to other females per se, other per se, bronze women in particular, because I don't take too kindly of like other races, but that's just a different thing. But does you think that has anything to do with it as well?
Wait, say that one more time.
Being raised in solitude, being the only child.
Okay, so I heard that you said something about solitude, and I couldn't hear the last thing you. Okay, what was the question behind that?
Being raised. Okay, do you think that has anything to do with it? Of me always being a loner. Like the lone wolf just for myself.
Right.
So that's what I'm already used to, and I know that I need to open up more, but I'm finding it kind of difficult. Is it me per se, or is this like the force of bad habit?
I don't say that. I don't think it's a bad habit. Actually, it is healthy to have, moments of being in your own solitude, because that's how you're able to refresh yourself. But see, the thing is, just like the caller has said before, that at the end of the day, you find that we need each other at the end of the day. So if you in your own solitude, you may be absorbing certain types of, energy and things like that you're absorbing, or sometimes, it could be the opposite, and you might need to be able to have to open up to someone to be able to share. And in your case, it seemed like you probably confide in your mother in particular, right?
But still, she's like, I found some things out from her, and the relationship is not too well.
Okay, all right. So then what I would say is that, because over time when you've grown up to be like that, and let's say you was the only one that was raised in particular by your parents or just your mother in general, sometimes that can happen where you may find it a little difficult to be able to open up to other women per se. But at the end of the day, I would just say that you have to find that balance and be able to talk to someone who, like she said, is on your level. You understand what I'm saying? That's the only way you're going to be able to relate. But if let's say you are empty inside, then you're not going to be able to give the next sister anything because of you being empty. If you're in your solitude and you're not pouring in any good things, then nothing good is going to come out of it. You're just going to be empty inside. You understand what I'm saying? If that makes any sense?
Okay, yes, pledge. Thank you for that.
Right. Okay. All right. Is there any other questions you have?
No, that is about it. Thank you so very much.
Okay, you're welcome. 405, you on the air? 5, you on the air? Okay, so this was the first show for NETERAL Radio Show, and we're going to be looking forward to having this every Tuesday out of the week. So for those listeners, I thank you for taking the time out to listen to NETERAL Radio Show, and you can look forward to it on Tuesdays night at 10 p.m. So the question is raised, should a bronze woman have more than one confidant? I will say that it's best to at least have 1 to at least 3 confidants is healthy. That should just be the max, from 1 to 3, and that's it. And that's just a suggestion just given to you bronze women that are listening in particular, because when you have a whole bunch of friends and it's just gossip going around, nothing healthy is going to come out of that. Okay, nothing that's going to be, fruitful and, flourishing for, you bronze women. Okay, and then at the end of the day, iron sharpens iron. To NETERAL Radio Show, and you all have a great night. Okay?